Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are taking a look at The Grudge. It's flopped, unfortunately. It's had a terrible opening weekend from Friday, and it's looking for a terrible opening weekend. So we're going to be taking a look at that today, and then also I wanted to let you know for something to expect on Mondays from now on, which is kind of off the back end of this. It's going to be a box office wrap-up. I want to do a brand new weekly series. Just give you guys something to look forward to, something every single Monday. We take a look at the box office of the weekend just gone, and we analyse what's been going on, because I think taking a look at how the box office progresses week on, week out will be interesting from an analysis perspective. We can genuinely see the trends in Hollywood at that point. So I thought that'd be something which you guys would enjoy, but do let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section. But let's get into it, right? Let's take a look at The Grudge. Now, this is a movie which is technically a sequel, but look, at the end of the day, it's kind of a reboot as well, because you don't need to have seen the others to really get this. And it's flopped. Okay, it has flopped. The opening for it on Friday was was my big dumb face is in the way. It was the 5.35 million. That's not good. That's not good at all. And currently, it's looking like it will get overall an 11 million opening. I don't actually think it will. I believe this is only, as per this article and from what I can ascertain online as well, it's only opened in the domestic market. So that's one of its biggest markets. It is, I mean, it's not a Western property, so when it does open in its originating market, it may do okay, but I can't see this earning a great deal of money. I'd be very surprised if this even hits 100 million, but we'll have to see, right? So let's get into it, okay? The last film to receive the failing grade was Darren Aronofsky's Mother in 2017. That's an F. Cinema score. Now, cinema scores and things like that, who cares? It's not really a big deal, is it? Like, who genuinely cares about these things? I think money speaks for itself. The quality of the film speaks for itself. Obviously, those two are not universally connected. Good movies don't do well sometimes, and well, terrible movies do incredibly well sometimes. But the F cinema score is interesting, I guess, when you're taking a look at the fact that the last one was Mother in 2017. You know, a fair while ago now. Now, they are saying it's a reboot. I mean, it technically is a sequel, though. So it's a bit of a shame that they're doing that. But look, Sony's reboot of The Grudge is headed for an 11 million debut at the North American box office after getting flunked by audiences with a rare F cinema score. Only 20 or so movies have ever received the failing grade. The last was Darren Aronofsky's Mother in 2017. I will say this, like, I knew that this movie had some problems. I'll leave it linked above, because I had a source that had, and again, for those that keep doubting my sources and things like that, watch that video. I had a source that told me the rough plot, that they were going into problems, and that test screenings hadn't proved to be overly great. And then it went back for reshoots, it was delayed, and now we've got it coming out now. So I knew that this movie was going to be, had some problems, and then we saw the trailers, and the trailers were just overly generic. They were not very good. They were reliant on, actors that we've seen before in horror movies, jump scare city, and I know that The Grudge is typically a jump scare based sort of franchise-ish. Can we call it a franchise? I don't know, but I know typically it is that sort of property, but you still didn't, paint it as being a very, very good film. Now, the R-rated offering is the first nationwide release of the year and faces plenty of competition from a strong flurry of holdovers as the holiday season comes to an official close and schools reopen Monday. It's important to note it's a horror movie as well, and it's in January. That's not good. I'm not one to really talk about months of release, because there's no good or bad month of release anymore. Movies that are good will stand on their own. But this looked bad, plus it was put in January, which, when you compare the two, they knew that this was not going to do very well. They knew it. They've changed the slate so they could put something else there further down the year or later in the year in a busier time period where people would actually go, actually watch, and they would actually earn money. So like I say, don't listen too much to the month of release, because it's not a true indicator. But pair it with other things that you've heard as well and build a picture. And, we can deduce that it wasn't going to do very well. Now, obviously, Disney's The Rise of Skywalker will have no trouble staying atop the chart with another 37 million as it heads for the 450 million mark domestically. I think it's hit for almost 850 million now. I think it's made in total, which is it's great money. Awesome. Will it hit $1 billion? I don't know, because it's dropped by about 60% now. That's quite a big drop off. So they may struggle to hit that 1 billion mark, but I'd imagine they probably will. However much of that is profit, who the hell knows? There's been some more leaks surrounding that film, which people have been asking me to cover, but I thought I'd take a step back from talking about The Rise of Skywalker for a little while and get back to my normal style of content, because when you cover a certain movie for a certain length of time, people do get a bit sick of it, and I'm not a one-note person. I talk about the whole industry as a whole, and unfortunately there's been so much bloody news about this film, it looks like I'm a Star Wars channel. I'm not. So Sony will take up the next 3 spots on the chart between the holiday hits, so Jumanji, The Next Level, Little Women, and in 4th place, The Grudge. Disney's Frozen 2 is expected to round out the top 5. So that's interesting. Sony will take up the next 3 spots on the chart. So they got, obviously, Jumanji, The Next Level. So they've done well with that. Little Women's not doing particularly well at all. But Jumanji's doing pretty well. They're doing all right with that. I don't remember that being a Sony property. It's written like it is, but yeah. Jumanji 2 grossed 8.7 million on Friday for a projected 26 million to 28 million weekend, putting its domestic total to 235 million range through Sunday. That's pretty strong domestic total for that movie. I've heard, for all intents and purposes, it's not very good. I watched the first one, enjoyed the first one for what it was, but I've heard that the second one is basically just The Rock and Kevin Hart doing, just doing old man impressions the entire time, which is a bit boring. So these things are fine. We'll talk more about this in the video tomorrow. But this film was never going to do well, was it? The Grudge. Look at even what it's up against. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. We've got Disney's Frozen 2, Jumanji, Little Women. You would think, right? Bearing in mind it's only opened in one market, but you would think that counter-programming would see this succeed to some degree. But that's an abysmal opening. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So obviously from Sony's Screen Gems, The Grudge opened to 5.4 million on Friday, including 1.8 million in Thursday's previews. The 1.8 million's not too bad, actually. If we're looking at analysis, that's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It remains to be seen. Again, one market. It's only one market. It remains to be seen whether the Saturday traffic slows because of the dismal reviews and the F cinema score. I don't think that'll be it. It'll be word of mouth. When we see these articles, they put way too much emphasis on these things because they're trying to legitimize themselves. It's not about the reviews. It's not about the cinema score. It's about word of mouth. People don't really listen to reviewers that much. If the movie looks good, they'll go out and watch it. But this didn't look very good anyway. And then their friends would have seen it. They're not going to talk about it. They're not going to want to watch it. They're not going to recommend it. So this is obviously produced by Sam Raimi, who has long been involved with the English language version of the franchise, The Grudge. This, again, The Grudge is a reboot of the 2004 remake of the Japanese series. It's not. It is actually a sequel. Like, I've called it, the Grudge reboot in titles and things like that, because it's kind of a soft reboot. It's sort of a continuation, but not. Technically it's a sequel, but not. So it's really not a reboot. It's a shame that they keep doing that. But there you go. Look, the fact that they got the likes of Lin Shaye, Demian Bichir is pretty good. John Cho, these people which are quite. They're relatively all right in the horror world. Actors that people would have seen before, would potentially want to watch their what they're involved in, their projects. But then also, who's Nicolas Pesce? Essentially a nobody. No one's going to know who that is. So there you go. The box office for The Grudge is flunked. It is bombed, as it were. This was never going to do well. It's not a surprise. But we'll talk about that and the others a little bit more in tomorrow's box office roundup. Hopefully you'll join me there for that. What did you think about The Grudge? I will watch it the moment it comes out in the UK, but it is not out in the UK yet. And that's part of the issue with this film as well. They haven't managed to secure a universal wide release. So people would have heard about it from online stuff. Paired with the fact that it looks like garbage, they're definitely not going to go watch it now. So anyway, it's going to bomb. It's not going to do very well. And they only have themselves to blame. Stop rebooting or remaking or continuing tired properties. There you go. Simple as. Love to hear your thoughts though, so please do let me know down below in the comments. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Again, leave your thoughts down below on the box office series on Mondays. I'd love to hear it. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching with Mr. H. Take care.